Welcome back to the Shred the Spread podcast. I'm your host, Jared, coming off of an ugly 2-3 week. The Titans, I've got no words for them right now. I don't think we're going to bet the Titans the rest of the year. That team is just, I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But regardless, we went 2-3, snaps a 4-week winning streak. We've got 2 weeks to finish strong. We've got this week, week 17, and then we have week 18. And then obviously the playoffs are going to start. I'll tell you what. For those of you guys who really paid attention last week, the games were weird. This was one of the weirder weeks. So, we'll take our 2-3. We'll salvage what we could. The good news is, if you guys took our picks and played them on the book, you guys most likely went 3-2. Because obviously we had the wrong side of the hook on the Titans, and that line ended up jumping to 3. And then we said one of the other picks that we kind of left out were the Lions. We didn't play them at 3.5 because of the hook on the other side, but hopefully you guys got on that as well. So, we really didn't do too bad betting wise. I think we did okay, but contest wise, because those lines they don't change. That's where we kind of bit the bullet. But never fear, we're back and better for week 17. Dynell and I are going to get into every single game. Bear with us. We are recording this a day early, so we may be a little bit ahead of the game on some injury news, and we obviously don't have our lines. So we will be using the current DraftKings Sportsbook lines for our show today. But without further ado, let me bring on my co-host, my right-hand man, my dude, Dynell. What's going on, man?
Yeah, what's going on, my guy? Back at it again for another digging week. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Last week, my fingernail wasn't dirty. I don't know what kind of week it was, man. We had to dig, and it was rough. I mean, a lot of underdogs ended up just covering straight out last week, man. It was a very, very weird week. A lot of primetime action that really surprised me throughout Christmas and Christmas Eve. By the way, guys, Merry belated Christmas to you guys, and Happy New Year too. Well, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get one more episode in before the New Year, but Happy New Year regardless. But yeah, man, let's dive into these lines, man. Let's see what we got going on.
Yeah, it's sickening because I freaking ride or die with the Panthers, and the 1 week I don't put them in or force them in. Wow. Bryce Young has a career game, so it is what it is. We'll see what we got this week. But without further ado, let's get into our Week 17 preview.
Let's go.
All right, here we go. So in all likelihood, Deshaun Jackson's going to at least get a return. Deshaun Jackson gets a block. Are you kidding? Way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
With the first game of the slate, we have the final Thursday night football game. And what better way to go out than with a classic? The Jets and the Browns, kind of how the Thursday game started with a bunch of shit. The current line is 7.5. Jets are the underdogs traveling to Cleveland. This is tricky. Immediately you look at this and say, oh, Jets plus 7.5. Hell yeah. There's one problem though. The Browns defense at home is top 3, I think, the last 9 weeks. And they're number 1 on getting pressures to the quarterback. And we already know this Jets offensive line is shaky, and it looks like it might be Trevor Siemian again. The Jets, they struggle to put up points. They struggle to get first downs. 7.5 seems like a big number, but realistically, as hot as Joe Flacco has been, how do you fade the Browns at home? What do you think, Dynell?
Yeah, nah, I think it's time I stop getting burned by Joe Flacco and just give him his respect at his goddamn point, because, boy, he's been cooking me up these last 3 weeks. He's been cooking the NFL. He's doing absolutely well. He's doing exactly what the Browns need him to do, unlike Deshaun Watson all year. So this is very encouraging for the Browns, man. Like you said, this team at home, the defense, top notch, one of the best in the league, and they're going to be relentless. And if you can only imagine how the Jets struggled to move the ball against Commanders, and granted, yeah, they put up 27 points, but a lot of those points came off a good field position, block punts, snapping balls over the head, a man running down the sideline and literally having the ball up in the air for some reason and just slips out of his hand and gives it to the defense. I mean, yeah, it was a shit show. And yet you see that game, that was still a 3-point game, and the Commanders took the lead with literally about 2 minutes left in the game. So I would stay away from this, honestly, from my opinion. But how can you not back Joe Flacco right now in this Browns defense at home?
Yeah, an incredible story. I think someone said that he is jumping in odds really quickly for comeback player of the year, which sounds crazy to say. I don't even let me see current comeback player. Oh, okay. So
There's
DeMar
no
Hamlin
point.
is down to
Yeah.
minus 400 and Joe
There's no
Flacco's
point.
plus 400.
There's no point.
That's nuts.
No
That's
matter
nuts.
what, there's no point. There's no
That's
point.
nuts. So yeah, well, obviously we're not going to play this in the contest. We don't put the Thursday games in unless we absolutely love them. But this is just not a spot that I think Dynell and I are going to target. The line or the current total is 36. I mean, that just says to the defense, and that still might be a little too high. I mean, unless Joe Flacco just goes out there and throws for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. I don't know. I definitely lean Browns here. Maybe play like a first half, but yeah, nothing I'm loving from that full game.
No, sir.
Moving on to Saturday night. We have the Lions traveling to Dallas. Dallas -6. It looks like it's going to be -6.5 in the contest, but the current line is -6. The total for this game is 53.5. You've got the Lions. You got Jared Goff borderline crying in his post-game interview. The Lions' first time winning the NFC North. I think the last time they won the division, they were like Central. It wasn't even North. That was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, bro. Like Barry Sanders type years.
Yeah, so you got the Lions who basically they just won their Super Bowl, and you have the Cowboys that just lost to the Dolphins. I mean, this is just a game where it's like you got the Lions are flying high, they won their division. How do you not take the Cowboys here? I mean, it sounds sketch, but like I feel like this is a smash spot for Dallas at home. You know, we love Dallas at home.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And as far as I'm concerned, this is not taking a fish at the fishbowl situation type here, but this is the Dallas Cowboys at home in a dome as well. Dak Prescott's just a different animal at home. I don't know what it is about the road. I don't know if it's the drive there, you have to put on different types of fits throughout the week, so it's causing some mental toughness. I don't fucking know. But them boys can't get it together on the road for some reason. Home cooking is just what they asked for. They just dropped 2 straight. And this is the way they I feel like this is like a get right game and get back game. Honestly, this might end in double digits. Like you said, I just feel like the emotional side of it. One team's out for vengeance to come back and stay at top of the division. The other team is happy they won the division. It's been so goddamn long, and I'm crying through press conferences. So yeah, I'm with you. I definitely lean Dallas here.
Yeah, Dallas, they just, especially like off of what loss, they just go out there and like, even if they're up 14, they're still throwing 30, 40-yard passes downfield. They're like a team that likes to run the score up. So bigger spread, but we'll take, I think we're in early lean Cowboys at home.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the Miami Dolphins, traveling to Baltimore to face the red hot Ravens. Ravens coming off a huge dominant performance against the 49ers. Ravens defense tallied 5 interceptions. Probably the best defensive performance the Ravens have had all year.
Yes.
Lamar Jackson now the favorite for MVP. Isn't that award so weird how it changes week to week? I'm starting to think the award's fake.
Annoying. No, it's annoying. No. The word's annoying. It's very annoying. It's like, it's all narrative. It's like, oh wow, since I'm the best team, since I'm part of the quarterback of the best team in the best conference, and I'm going against the team who currently has the MVP favorite. Now that I beat him and he looks bad against us, now I'm it. Like, come on, we're playing tag.
Yeah, it's like king of the hill. Like the guy was up there for 10 weeks, but we beat the guy who was on the hill, so now we're the king. Like it's that award is just weird to me. I'm not a big fan of MVP awards.
No.
Nevertheless, we got the Dolphins traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore is most likely going to be -3.5 at home. It depends on, for those of you guys who bet early, it kind of depends on when you got this number. If you got the Ravens at -3 when it opened, I think the value's there. But now on the book, like DraftKings has the Dolphins at +4. I almost lean the Dolphins at +4. I just feel like, Dynell and I always say Lamar Jackson as an underdog and a very short favorite, he's awesome to back. Like, but anything over 3.5, I think he's like 11-26 against the spread. Like he wins those games, but he doesn't cover. And we know this Ravens team is kind of different this year, but there's just one factor that I just can't get over. And regardless, because Jalen Waddle, that injury kind of did look bad. Maybe a high ankle sprain. He might be out for the rest of the regular season. Who knows how deep into the playoffs? But the one thing that just makes me nervous is Tyreek Hill and his speed. Like, we know that Ravens defense shows up every week, but Tyreek Hill is just a force to be reckoned with. He's unguardable. It's just, you can't stop him. You can only do your best to contain him. We know the Ravens get pressure on the quarterback. Tua stands in there and makes some great throws. The one thing I will say I'm worried about is we know the Dolphins get going off the run. Raheem Mostert, A-Chain, Jeff Wilson back there now. I mean, this just kind of seems like a weird spot. Like, I feel like if the Dolphins can't get the running game going, they might not have a shot. But I just feel like if you got the number at 4, the value kind of shifts toward the Dolphins. What do you think, Dynell?
I only like it because of the number. Cause I feel because honestly, in any Ravens game, you can only imagine like the game would be like a 3-point game. Sometimes they get hot, then they cool off and let the team come back. They get backdoored quite a bit. I would agree with you if only the conference title is on the line right here, because the conference titles, this is it. This is honestly it. If the Dolphins lose, Ravens have number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. AFC conference is theirs basically at this point, right? And if the Dolphins win, they keep it into one game. They have the tiebreaker over the Ravens, and the record is tied going into the last week. So there's a lot of motivation on both sides. I just feel like with the Dolphins not being fully, completely healthy without having, I get that Tyreek Hill is honestly should be an MVP candidate at this point from his performance. But him without Waddle and then kind of being banged up, A-Chain, I still haven't seen A-Chain fully get back into it yet, and that concerns me a little bit.
That's true.
Then, like I said, this Ravens team, just the way they just handle the 49ers with ease like that. Granted, this only proved the fact that like we talked about Brock Purdy, when he gets behind, ooh, boy, it's ugly. It's ugly, and I don't know, man. Like I said, the number for I like the Dolphins number because you're talking about a great team who was in the top of their conference, who basically had the hook at 3, basically at 4 at this point. But I just don't know. I really don't know. This Ravens defense has been, like I said, the Ravens defense showed you who the fuck they were last week, and like I said, I don't know, man. It really depends. It really depends. But
yes, especially when both teams coming off a big emotional win the last week.
Right.
So,
but here's what I will say. I mean, the theme of the year is, this is the best team in the world. Okay, they lose. Now this is the best team in the world. So this is a carousel. So
you're right.
The trend is the carousel.
If the trend is the trend, then this looks like a Dolphin spot. I mean, we saw it with the Niners, we saw it with the Eagles, we saw it with the Cowboys, and now we're going to see it with the Ravens potentially. That's a good point. Moving on, San Francisco 49ers. It's their week to get their lick back. They're facing the Washington Commanders. Commanders home dogs plus 13.5. Dynell, I mean, are the Commanders do they even have a pulse at this point?
Barely. Matter of fact, the only pulse is Jacoby Brissett. to be honest. Oh
yeah, we don't even know who the quarterback's going to be this week.
Yeah, we do. We don't know. We don't know anything. We don't know who the running back's going to be. Brian Robinson's been out. Chris Rodriguez, he definitely came through. Play his touchdown props because he's basically the new Brian Robinson. With Brian Robinson now at this point, he's a sledgehammer. But bro, what is there to talk about? Like I said, bro, I just saw a play. I killed you not. I watched the game. I turned it on, and it's Christmas Eve, getting the holiday spirit. I got to the point where I was about first quarter, 7 minutes. Once Sam Howell threw that first pick, and they scored again. There was another turnover. I said, "Yep, let me turn this off." I completely turned it off. There's no point even watching anymore. Matter of fact, I turned it back on to see how the game was going. We were coming back, but I was like, you know what? Let me turn this back off because we're going to fill up a game-winning field goal to Trevor Siemian with 2 minutes left, and sure enough, we did. So it's the same usual suspects. Who are we to compete with the 49ers? Who are we to really compete with any top team in the NFC at this
Especially
point?
A mad team.
Yeah, trust me. A pissed off team. Probably got their Air Force. Debo's bringing out them Air Force Ones back again, and the Commanders can't handle that. So if anything, lean 49ers. No, don't lean anything Commanders. I mean, there's no point in leaning to the Commanders at this point. Just let it be, let it ride, and let's just hope we get the 3rd pick.
The one thing I will say, a little cheeky prop. I'm almost to the point where I kind of just want to bet Washington 4th quarter spread. It sounds crazy, but just the last 2 weeks, remember the Rams? They almost came back against the Rams. And then last week versus the Jets, they just came all the way back. They just can't close the gate, but they're having these big end of 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter runs. And I think it's just because the defenses are playing so soft and the Commanders are usually down. I'm going to test that out this week. I need to put a reminder for that because that's not something that's going to be on top of my head. But now that you're speaking about it, I'm gonna give a shot of that live. Maybe have to do it live, but the Commanders 4th quarter spread. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Indianapolis to face Gardner Minshew and the Colts. Colts are -3 at home. It looks like they're going to be 2.5 in the contest based off the juice, which I love. I feel like if we can get the Colts -2.5 at home, we're gonna smash the spot.
Yes,
We faded them
yes.
last week, rightfully so.
Right.
We talked about it, and you kind of came to sense with me that the Falcons were the right play, and luckily we put them in the contest because they did handle their business. But we're not going to sit here and act like this Raiders team is good. Yeah, they beat the fucking Chiefs, but I don't think Aiden O'Connell completed a second half pass.
He did
I
not.
don't think
Zero.
he did. And
Zero.
I don't
Zero.
even think they scored an offensive touchdown.
No,
and
they did not.
And they beat the Chiefs. So, everybody's going to see, the Raiders, they got the swagger, the head coach. I'm sorry, but Shane Steichen has that offense on all cylinders. And the Colts might not be able to play the best defense, but they're going to move the ball downfield and give themselves the opportunity to score. If this is -2.5, I honestly think this is one of my early favorites to lean. What are you thinking?
Nah, hell yeah. I'm rocking with you with that. Like you said, bro, very weird week last week. Like I said, the Raiders winning by a touchdown and putting up 2 defensive touchdowns off of 2 Patrick Mahomes mistakes is wild as enough as it is. That is very wild. And you're gonna test that luck against the horseshoe? Really? The luckiest one of the luckiest team in the league. Now, granted, they failed last week, but man, come on now. They've been lucky all week, all year this year. They were without Michael Pittman last week. I think he should be coming back. He's coming off a concussion protocol, maybe. Who knows? It's early, so we really don't know 100% for sure. But yeah, early favorites definitely got to be the Indianapolis Colts here, man. Raiders cannot put up no offensive output whatsoever. They're also not the Chargers defense,
especially if we can get them at 2.5. I feel like that's almost like a gift. So we'll see how the lines come out. But obviously we won't give you guys the full context unless we take that pick on our Friday picks show. Moving on to the Los Angeles Rams, and I'm telling you what, man, the Rams are gonna somehow make the fucking playoffs, and all that shit I was getting for being all over the Rams, it's just even my friends and stuff, I told them how much I was all in on the Rams this year, and sprinkled some of their Super Bowl props, them to win the NFC, just because their value is insane. And we still got to remember it is Matthew Stafford leading that team. But I'll tell you what, Dynell, Giants cover this week. Giants cover this week.
Yes, sir.
And it's because this game right here is the least of their worries. I'll tell you what, we're going to fade the Rams this week. We're going to take the Giants at +6.5, and we're going to turn around and the Rams are going to cover and potentially beat the Niners next week. That's how it's going to happen. That's just how football goes.
Yes,
the Giants are going to go over here and they're going to cover. They might not win, but they're going to cover somehow. It's going to be an ugly performance by the Rams. I think they squeeze it out and win, but they're going to put up a dogfight versus the Niners next week. So I love the Giants in this spot. They just, especially if it's Tyrod, he is able to maneuver in the pocket. Aaron Donald is going to come through that line because the Giants offense can't stop a fly, or the Giants offensive line can't stop a fly. And Tyrod Taylor, he just makes plays. You saw it in the fourth quarter against the Eagles. Eagles make a big play. Tyrod goes out there and he just keeps plays alive. And that's the difference in this NFL. If you have a quarterback, obviously with a struggling offensive line, but a quarterback that can keep the play alive are just so deadly because these receivers, even the tight ends, are just so athletic and fast. Coverage can only sustain so long, and by keeping plays alive, they're going to find holes in this defense. And we already know this Rams defense, they're not amazing. They rely on Aaron Donald getting pressure and quick passes, and hopefully the corners are there and safeties are there to protect. But this is just a smash spot for the Giants. I feel like, you saw it last week. They're getting momentum at the end of the year for no reason. This is what these bad teams do. They just start pulling shit out of their hat at the end of the season and covering games. And this is just a prime example of a Giant spot.
Quietly kept, Tyrod Taylor is the best quarterback on that roster. Quietly kept. And honestly, how can you not back the Giants with Tyrod there? I mean, yes, I get it. Tyrod Taylor always has 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot in the football field because that man can't stay in the football field to save his life and he gets hurt. But honestly, with him being able to move around the pocket and maneuver and make plays like he does, man, he is a wild card. He's definitely a wild. He's too much of a wild card to not back him up with 6 points. You know what I'm saying? To granted, a Rams team who's very talented on the outside, definitely very talented on the offense. But this Giants defense is low key stingy on defense. They're very, very low key. The Giants are just one of those under the radar teams, man. And like I said, you can honestly bank on them dogfighting every single game. Now, granted, like you said, this is going to be a dogfight this week with the Giants. The Rams win, but the Giants stay in it. But I have the Rams possibly winning outright next week against the 49ers. I feel like it's going to be a wake up call for them.
Hell yeah.
Super Bowl prediction there. But nah, I'm I'm definitely leaning Giants here +6 with backing Tyrod Taylor and that offense, man. There's another threat. There's another level of a threat with Tyrod out there.
Yeah, the Giants defense, like you said, sneakily scheme up well against the Rams. But we'll move on to, truthfully, a game I don't have much opinion on. It's the Patriots +12 traveling to Buffalo. Buffalo basically playing for their lives at this point. It looks like it's going to come down to next week as long as they handle their business. I really don't have much in this game. The spread's just too high. The Patriots, coming off that emotional win versus Denver, they're traveling to Buffalo. Both of these teams play in the elements. I'm not interested. Don't think this is going to be a contest play. The line's kind of left for dead. It's going to sit at either 11.5 or 12.5 in the contest. Either way, not really interested. Do you have any takeaways from this game?
No, sir. Good job for the Patriots last week. They stopped a terrible running team with a great run defense. There's two levels of extreme here that I don't like. The Bills can go out here and bust the Patriots at the water, but we all seen the Bills struggle against the Patriots. It's one of the teams they lost to this year in the division, and this Bill Belichick just knows how to play great defense, man, against Josh Allen and boys. So yeah, there's too many extremes to really put a line here, put a finger on it. Honestly, I don't even know what to even play as props wise. Like, you don't even know if Diggs gonna show up, is Dave's gonna show up, who's gonna show up here. So yeah, there's a lot of confusion here. I would just kind of stay away from it.
Yeah, definitely a random game for betting purposes. Moving on to Tennessee, traveling to the Texans. Texans -3.5 at home. Most likely going to get CJ Stroud back. I lean the Texans here. The only thing I'm worried about is, I know concussion protocol are taken very seriously, and usually a player's out for a week. And most of the time it's like a false alarm. They're just taking the precaution. But I mean, from the looks of it, it looked like CJ Stroud truly had a concussion. Like, he truly did. So, obviously when you're concussion protocol, you can't practice, you really can't travel. Like, you got to kind of, follow the protocol to a T. I still lean the Texans here, but I am a little worried how he comes out and looks. Like, Nico Collins is back, and that's huge. And we saw it last week. I'm pretty sure he got into the end zone. But I can't take the Titans anymore.
You can't bank right now. Yeah, you can't bank.
There's nothing left. There's nothing left in that team. Like, how many times can they just lose by 3, Dynell? Like, how many times? Like, what? Like, it's like going gas station to gas station, filling up just enough to get to the next one. Like, they're not preparing for the trip. Like, okay, I got $5 that'll get me to the next gas station. Okay, we scraped up. Like, they're continuously just trying to go without having a plan. Like, yeah, we know Mike Vrabel coaches that team hard, but they're on the road facing a Texans team fighting for the division at this point. Like, I mean, how do we not take the home favorites here?
Yeah, the Titans are a team to me that are courageously waving the white flag, if you know what I'm saying. And what I mean by that is, they know this is not going to be nothing. Okay, Derrick Henry, his time in Tennessee might be up. It just wasn't a great year this year. The Will Levis tried, showed some promises, but then showed right back to hit the bottom of the abyss. It's just like, it's for respect at this point. They play for respect. They don't really play to win. It's not really like a game like, oh yeah, now we're confident. No, this is just for respect at this point. And honestly, this is a game they can earn respect right here. I mean, CJ Stroud does come back, but this is definitely a compromise CJ Stroud in the wake. Like you said, when you're in concussion protocol, you don't really practice. Your conditioning isn't 100% right and well. And on top of that, I'm worried about the mental aspect of it, especially coming back straight off of concussion. The mental aspect of the game is your reads there. It's going to be quick as it was before you left. So I will lead this away because, like I said, Vrabel's defenses are pretty Vrabel's defenses are pretty decent enough to keep him in ball games. I can't take the Titans and I can't take the Texans. There's too many unknowns here, and like I said, I don't want to back a bad team who's just courageously waving a white flag because who knows, they might even lose by fucking 4.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Moving on to the Battle of the Birds. The Arizona Cardinals are traveling to Philly to face on the struggling Eagles. Eagles are -11 at home. I'm just going to say this. Like, my confidence level in the Eagles is kind of floored. The biggest thing that kind of makes me lean the Cardinals here is, the Cardinals have faced, they have given every single NFC East team trouble. They've had a lead on the Giants and blew it. A big lead. They had a lead on the Commanders and blew it. They beat the Cowboys. And historically, I feel like the Cardinals just always play the the Eagles tight. Like the last few times they played, shit, I mean, they might have split the games, but I'm pretty sure it's been a coin flip at the end. So I just remember Kyler Murray the last couple times we played him giving us hell, just because we get pressure, but those scrambling quarterbacks we just for some reason cannot get to. I'm gonna lean the Cardinals here. Not very confident in it, but the Cardinals are the right play. The number is huge, but I mean, we saw it last week. The Eagles just cannot put teams away. And I know the Cardinals look like shit versus the Bears, but that was in Chicago, and Justin Fields is way better at scrambling than Jalen Hurts. And this team just looks frustrated. Like the Eagles just don't look like they're a team. It looks like they're playing a lot of individual ball, and their defense, and my God, like who even knows what the fuck's going on? Like they're held by like bubblegum. Like that defense is held by bubblegum. And I don't want to be on anything back in the Eagles for the rest of the season. I mean, they should handle these games and have a chance to take the 1 seed or have a chance to win the division as long as they handle their games. But this is nothing that I'm interested in backing from the Eagles for the rest of the year. So I lean the Cardinals in the spot.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you. For the rest of the regular season, at least, you know what I'm saying? I would like to stay away from Philadelphia. Like you said, there's too much going on. Like, too much that we don't know. They're so, I don't know how to even put it. Like, this team is talented, but it's like, they just can't get right. This is like, and it's very weird to hear from a team that's been in the Super Bowl last year with a leader like Jalen Hurts, you know what I'm saying? So, it's very weird to see this going on. A lot of veteran leadership, too. That's why I'm also befuddled by, bro. I don't know what it is, man, but the Cardinals plus 11 I feel like is a decent spot. Like I said, the Eagles can't put away anything. All their games have been decided within. All the games they won have been, I think, decided within like what 4 or 5 points at this point recently. So no, I would definitely back the Cardinals here. I think Colin Murray would give him fits with his feet, and yeah, like I said, I don't really like love much from this game, but you got to take the points.
Cool. Moving on to this is a potentially a division winning game. Seal the division for the Saints and the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers are -3 at home. This number was 4, so early money coming in on the Saints. I mean, the Saints are the side, but dude, there's no way in fucking hell I can back Derek Carr and Dennis Allen. Like, I cannot physically take that team with confidence. Like, yeah, it's the right side, and I know that's where the sharps are going to be, but Jesus Christ, dude, like, how can you back that team and put a smile on your face? Like, that is torture.
You're basically taking a brick and smacking your balls with it, bro. Like every time you bet the Saints, that's exactly what you're doing. You're basically putting yourself through pain, and either A, you're gonna come out, whew, that's finally glad it's over, and you earned it and it was worth it, or B, you're gonna sit there crying, headed to the hospital with nut blisters, bro. Like, you really can't bet the Saints confident to save your life. But here's what I will say: I've been betting them Buccaneers, boy. And them Buccaneers are making me proud, boy. I'm telling you, man. Like, weirdly said. I mean, not the prettiest thing in the world, but they have been covering. They've been doing their thing. You have to give them credit for that. Baker Mayfield has shown up, has really been showing out, and this is a ugly NFC South matchup. I can tell you right now, an ugly NFC South football. I'm taking the Bucs. I'm leaning the Bucs any day, especially at 3. Like, yeah, I don't know. I can't back the Saints whatsoever, bro. I can't do it.
I can't blame you,
but I can't do it.
I can't blame you. The Buccaneers at home, division on the line potentially. I mean, I see why. Moving on to the Falcons traveling to Chicago. Bears are -3 at home. I mean, dude, like, I'm hoping this gets to 2.5 in the contest. The juice.
Oh, yes. I already know you pick it. When you say that, I already know you pick it.
The juice is definitely leaning that way. If it's 2.5 in the contest, we got to fade the Falcons after a win. We got to. Yep. We know that the Falcon, like, this Bears team thrives on quarterbacks that turn the ball over. It would be lovely to have Desmond Ridder, but we got to realize, like, Taylor Heineke is turnover prone.
Yep.
You saw it last week, a couple pass breakups that could have been potentially an interception. But the one thing that the Bears have is they have a top 3 defense since week 9. Top 3. Since trading for Montez Sweat, we say it every week. This defense gets pressure on the quarterback, and Jalen Johnson is back there just doing his thing. It's one of the top-rated cornerbacks right now, and they're just causing havoc on every team they play. They're causing turnovers, and they're not turning the ball over. Like, this is the Justin Fields Bowl. He's going to go out there and show the world, like, the Bears most likely are going to give up for me for Caleb Williams, but hey, I'm here to play. This is just going to increase his stock. I mean, how do you not take the Bears here, especially if it's at 2.5?
Exactly. In Chicago.
Yeah.
We are not in a dome. We are in Chicago. You get what I'm saying to you? Like, and we get it. A lot of people will take Taylor Heineke and his guts +3. I understand it, and I get it. But boy, I'm telling you, guys, bro, the Cincinnati Bears team, I said Cincinnati. Chicago Bears team at home rides high each and every time. I just can't get over that defense, man. That defense is very fun to watch. Like I said, I hate to see Montez Sweat go, man, but just to see him flourish now is a sight to behold. He truly is a superstar in the making, man, and he's showing it with his Bears defense here. I back that Bears defense any and every day, especially if it's, like I said, at 2.5. Definitely backing them there. And honestly, guys, this is still a Arthur Smith coach Falcons team. Remember how they said his job was safe? It all depends on these last 2 games here if he keeps his job or not. And he's been in my fucking dungeon damn near what for the last 3 weeks. So yeah, I'm backing the Bears here. And don't worry, Matt Eberflus. I'm keeping my eye on you too, bastard.
Yeah, that Bears team is held by Justin Fields, DJ Moore, and Montez Sweat, Jalen Johnson too. So yeah, we'll just rely on them. But yeah, if we can get them at 2.5, gotta roll with the Bears this week. Moving on to the Carolina Panthers traveling to Jacksonville to face the Jaguars. Panthers are +7 on the road. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I can take the Panthers this week. They covered back to back. I mean, I bet the Panthers last week they covered. I bet them 2 weeks ago they covered. I mean, realistically, what are the odds that the Panthers cover again? I know this Jacksonville Jaguars team has kind of been looking rough, to say the least. I think they're on a 4-game losing streak. Trevor Lawrence is banged up. Who knows if he plays? This line, I think, steamed down in favor of Jacksonville. I'm not sure where that money's coming from. I've definitely got to look into this a little bit more. I truthfully haven't looked into this game all that much because I didn't think I would want to be on the Panthers 3 weeks in a row. Don't really have an early read on this one. It's definitely one I got to look into a little bit more. Bryce Young is just tough. If you would have told me that out of every single rookie quarterback, Bryce Young was the one that would be able to be healthy all season, I probably would have thought you're bullshitting. But here he is, taking hit after hit because the offensive line sucks. I don't know, dude. Bryce Young is just tough. This team's just finding ways to stay in games, and I don't know. I think this number is a suspiciously high. That's all I'll say.
Boy, you only holding yourself back. I know in the back of your head. I know the best. I know
that's the
you.
thing. It makes the only thing that makes too much sense this week. That's why I'm scared of it. I like them when they're 3.5, 4.5, because that shit doesn't make sense. They're terrible. But 7.5, like, come on, dog.
Saying that to a sports betting therapist, you would look crazy. You would look insane. Okay, but nah. Here's what I will say though, bro. Yeah, that does look too good to be true. I have to agree. It does look too good to be true.
Yeah, it's like, take it. Here we go. Take it,
dude. A banged up Trevor Lawrence. Bryce Young just came off a hell of a week last week, and the over-under set at 38. It's +7 with the over-under at 38. That is wild. I would not, like I said, I probably wouldn't put no money on this game, but I would lean more towards the Panthers. Like you said, they're the healthier team. The Jags without Trevor Lawrence is like, what the fuck? What am I even doing with my life if I'm picking the Jags there? But personally, I would lean Panthers, bro. This is probably like my wow. Like I never would have thought this would be
but I feel like
open for you.
Just because it's at 7 or 7.5, or maybe maybe if it's 6.5, like I'll like it more, which sounds stupid. But
it's bait.
I don't know. It just looks suspicious. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else about it. I gotta look into it more.
It's bait.
Yeah. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Seattle. This is our first 4:00 game of the slate, and that we've been talking for fucking ever. Steelers +3.5 traveling to Seattle. Dude, I don't even know where to fucking start. Like, I looked at this game and I was like, oh, Steelers. Oh, Seahawks. 3.5. Jesus Christ. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like, the one thing I will say, the reason I will lean the Seahawks is because, number one, Mason Rudolph sucks. Number two, the reason he sucks is obvious. There's several quarterbacks that's been on that team several years, and he's always been the third string. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. The last thing is a shitty quarterback on the road, and he's got to do a silent count the whole entire game because they're in Seattle with the 12th man. I mean, that's just a recipe for fucking disaster. Like, I've got this game at 4. I don't know if that's just me being generous to the Steelers because I feel like they should be higher. But when I run the numbers, I've got this game at 4. So I lean the Seahawks at home. What do you got, Dynell?
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You're the Steelers whisperer at this point, bro. I don't know. You're the one. You know the line Lions better than I do when it comes to Pittsburgh. I don't know what's going to come with Pittsburgh. Is it going to be a package where they take a lead early and then now they can unleash the TJ Watts of the world and really get pressure, or is it going to be one of those that's like, damn, Seattle's kind of rolling the ball, they're controlling the game. Pittsburgh can't really move the ball downfield. I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's coming. And like you said, if you have the game at 4 and it's at 3.5, then Vegas already knows what time it is. Is it Vegas is basically saying, hey man, pick a choice. Which one? Either you get burned or you're not going to get burned, bro. And I don't know who I would pick here. I guess, like you said, I would lean more towards the Seahawks only because, like you said, I didn't believe in Rudolph last week. Why the fuck would I believe in Rudolph this week? So,
well, I mean, I told you can't fade Rudolph on Christmas. Like that was your fault.
What about Vixen? what about Vixen Mixon? He was in there too. He's part of Santa's sleigh.
His ass fell off the sleigh, and they didn't go back for his ass. Santa Claus ran off on him.
That motherfucker didn't have a red nose, so I didn't believe him.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm gonna lean the Seahawks at home just because the crowd, the noise, and Mason Rudolph. He's not built for that shit. This game is interesting. The Bengals are traveling to Kansas City. The Bengals +7. It looks like it may be 7.5 in the contest based off of the juice. I mean, how do we not take Cincinnati, Dynell?
Yes,
like
sir.
You want to talk about something looking free? Like the Panthers don't make sense. This one makes a little bit more sense because the Chiefs are at home. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. The Bengals have a backup quarterback. Who knows if they're going to have Jamar Chase? The one thing I will say, we historically don't take Patrick Mahomes as a big favorite. It just doesn't pay us. So, we're not going to change up. I think if it's 7.5, this is definitely a contest potential play just because the number, and we don't like taking Patrick Mahomes as a big favorite. I mean, we saw it last week, 10.5, 11-point favorite, losing outright. I mean, this team is just not right, dude. It's like taking the Chiefs here is like taking the Eagles against the Cardinals. Like that's a number too big for a team that you don't even know what they're going to show up and do that week.
Exactly.
I lean the Bengals here, especially if we get 7.5.
I think 7 was kind of big to kind of begin with. I mean, let's be honest. The Chiefs' offense looks terrible, and that's with the best player in the world in Patrick Mahomes on the side, with Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the world. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, I feel like a lot of people were down on Jake Browning for that last week performance, but that was the one bad performance he had, and he made mistakes early, and that's what bit him in the butt. Once you make mistakes early against that Steelers defense, that's what's going to happen to you. You're going to get flooded with pressure, and they're going to force you to make mistakes. That's normally what happens. But I'm going to tell you what, the Chiefs defense is good. They don't bring pressure like the Pittsburgh Steelers can do. That's one thing. Secondly, I feel like the number is this high only concerning the fact that this is respect for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has never lost a back-to-back until actually this year, literally a couple weeks ago. What are the odds of him doing it again? Honestly, it's
Wouldn't
possible.
be shocked.
Yeah, I would not be shocked. This is definitely possible, man. Like, this Bengals team can really shock anybody right now. And honestly, if they're going to stay in the playoff push, which, I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure they're going to want to be because at the point they're wasting their time. But in order to stay in the playoff push, they have to win this game here. There's going to be a dogfight as it is, and I can't back. Come on, did you see that? You see that game last week? The fucking Raiders didn't score a touchdown and they won. Why would I back them 7 points right now? Doesn't make any sense to me. And the Bengals can actually put pressure on Patrick Mahomes even more.
Yeah, Bengals are still a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
They've still got Joe Mixon and T. Higgins. They're coached decently. The defense is okay. Trey Hendrickson gets pressure on the quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he was running for his life all game. Did you watch that game?
No, I ain't gonna lie to you. No, I didn't.
Dude,
I know I didn't. I thought they could
Mahomes,
fast.
Dude, you got, I don't know if you could check this for me real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes rushing attempts last week. I mean, dude, I'm not kidding. I felt like he had to take off at least 3 times a drive. Like, I'm talking, like, second half was a mess. I got it right here. 1 second. 10 carries, Dynell.
10 rushes.
10 carries.
Oh man,
that doesn't even include the sacks. Like, how many sacks did they have? They got 2 sacks, or they got sacked 4 times. So I mean, it's like, I'm telling you, like, something is not right in Kansas City. Like, something is not right. Raiders win by 6 and don't score an offensive touchdown. Something's not right. But I agree with you, dude. Bengals, especially if it's 7.5, that number is just huge. And maybe we're stepping right in it. Maybe we are.
That motherfucker had the most rushing yards on his team. He had 53. He had 2 times. No, he had 2 times. He had 2 times the next leading rusher. Pacheco had 26. He had 53. 10 rushes. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, something's just off on that team. I don't like the way it looks. Like, you can see the Eric Bieniemy offense still integrating that. Like, well, maybe it's Andy Reid's, but screen pass after screen pass after screen pass after. I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly to watch. Like, they're going backwards the whole game, feels like. But yeah, enough ranting on that. Let's move on to our Bumble of the week.
Yes, sir.
The Los Angeles Chargers traveling to Denver. The book knows it's a bumble because they don't even know what the hell to put the line at. They just hung a 5 up there and they're just trying to see where the money comes in. Dude, the total's sitting at 39.5 with a 5-point spread. I mean, the book has no fucking clue what to do. Like, what do we do? Do we just take the Broncos first half, Chargers second half? I mean, like, what do we do? Like, I don't have a play with this. This for sure won't be in the contest. I'll probably forget that this game's even on. Luckily we have a couple 4 o'clock games to hide behind this. Do you like anything in this game?
No, matter of fact, I don't like it at all. This shit's giving me a fucking headache. Look at these numbers, give me a fucking headache. And on top of that, I'm anti Broncos. I'm anti Denver, to be honest with you. So I guess I would lean Chargers, which is ugly to fucking say. To think that I'm about to put a baseball bat that playing quarterback in Easton Stick, playing a fucking quarterback against the Broncos, dude, and I'm about to back in with 5 points. That lets you know how bad things have gotten in Denver, bro. Like the fact that I'm even considering that. So I don't know. I take points, I guess, but just put this under the rug. We don't want to watch this. We don't want this.
Yeah, that's
we don't want this.
Yeah, it's the bum bowl of the week for the reason. I mean, I don't even know where you would start to bet if you're a prop better. Like, I don't even know where you would fucking start. But anyway, let's move on to the Sunday night NFC North matchup of the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings -1.5 at home. I mean, you know what we're doing.
Go ahead.
You know what we're doing.
Yeah. I already know.
You gotta take the Packers here.
Yes. yes.
You got to.
Yes.
The only thing is, like, the Packers defenses look really shitty last few weeks, but I think this divisional spot, I mean, you saw it last week. The Vikings had so many opportunities to run away with that game versus the Lions, and they just, the people who bet on the Vikings got Nick Mullins. I don't see that stopping here. I mean, this is just a good spot for Jordan Love. Like, he is able to get out of the pocket. He's able to move around against the blitz. I mean, Jared Goff actually didn't look too bad against the blitz, and the Vikings defense is just, it's like Swiss cheese, man. Like they're really strong in some points, and then they just got holes in others. And I see this as a good spot for Green Bay. I think Green Bay wins this game. It's at 1.5, so that tells you all you need to see. But I think you got to go with the Packers here. Just an early read.
Right. Oh yeah, no doubt. And even scheme wise, this is why I was really kind of heavy on the Lions. Granted, my bold prediction didn't really go through last week. They didn't win by 2 touchdowns. But the whole reason why I was bringing up with the whole Jared Goff and the blitz thing and all this points about being 3 points, my biggest thing was he has weapons now. It's not like he had I think Henderson at running back when he was with the Rams. He had Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield, using as a versatile back now. Now the Green Bay Packers are going into this game with Aaron Jones. You know what I'm saying? Christian Watson, who's granted not a number 1 really yet, but he's emerging as one. Jaden, what's his name? Jaden.
Oh, Jaden Reed.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Jaden Reed, who is right now, I think he's on his way to having the most yards as a wide receiver for a rookie in Packers and rookie in franchise history. Like, I'm not saying they have the greatest weapons, but I can tell you these weapons in this scheme will be utilized against the Vikings here in this situation. So yeah, I really got the Packers winning this hands down. I just feel like the blitz eventually dooms the team when you constantly do it that many times as the Vikings do, and this is why they're in the situation they are now. It saved them, but at the end of the day, it puts them in precarious situations. I feel like it puts them in another precarious situation, and the Packers win outright. Simple.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, dude, that's a huge slate. I hope you guys are still awake. A shit ton of 1 o'clock games. So as I said last week, if you're putting your bets in early, do so lightly. Injury news. I mean, this injury news, they pop out like whack-a-mole, man. Like, you think you're good, and all of a sudden someone's got a calf strain or the groin. Like, it's just crazy shit at the end of the year. Some teams have nothing to play for. Some teams have everything to play for. So pick your spots accordingly. Dynell and I will be back on Friday for our picks episode, and we're going to give you our best 5, our best shot. We're going to try to finish the contest strong. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at @ShredTheSpread_. You can also follow us on TikTok at ShredTheSpread. Dino, any last words for the listeners before we get out of here?
No, sir. It's the same words as every week, knuckleheads. Tune in to our X account at Shred the Spread. You know, shoot me a follow too at Dynell. If you have any questions, you guys want to ask me any other details you want to learn from certain games, please, not that Broncos game. I don't want to even talk about that. But any other game, definitely shoot me my DM, guys. And like I said, I'm open. I'm all ears. And like I said, happy holidays to you guys. Hope you guys had a very happy a Merry Christmas. And hopefully let's go and let's start this new year right, man. Let's start this new year making some money, right? So hopefully Friday we'll get you some nice 5-0 picks. You know, a 5-0 week to get you guys started in the new year.
Yeah, maybe Dynell and I on Friday or picks episode. Maybe we'll put out some of those college bowl games. I've been dabbling in those a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I've got 2 really good picks I like this weekend. But anyway, this has been our Week 17 preview for the Shred the Spread podcast. I'm your host, Jared. He's Dynell, for our awesome producer, Tyler, holding it down behind the scenes. This has been another episode of the Shred the Spread podcast. Thanks again for listening. Until Friday for our picks episode, we'll see you.
Peace.